Hi class, this video will be dealing with music notation. These screenshots that you're going to see are from the book that you're using, the Hal Leonard Guitar Method, Book 1. Now, in the beginning of the book, there's a page called Music Symbols. On that page, you'll see a picture of the music staff. This is what notes are written on, 5 lines and 4 spaces. You'll know what note you're playing by which line or what space the note is on or in. Now, what adapts the staff to your instrument is this symbol here, which is called a treble clef. It's also called a G clef, and I actually prefer calling it that. The reason being that this bottom loop, if you see the last line it crosses is the second line from the bottom, and the note that falls on that line is a G. Now, the music alphabet goes from A to G and then back to A. It's just a constant cycle. So if the note G falls on this line, you'll see that the note A would be in the next space above that, and then B on the next line, and C in the next space. And the same going backwards. If this is G, F would be in this space, E would be on that line. Now on the next page, you can see there are the notes. You have G on that second line from the bottom, the last line crossed by the loop on the G clef or treble clef. And if you combine these two diagrams, you can see how the staff works alphabetically. E in the first line, F in the next space, G, A, B, C, D, and so on. And let's go on to the next one. Now, music is divided up numerically. In the beginning of the staff, next to the treble clef or G clef, you have this numeric symbol. Now, it's not a fraction. It's 4. I'm calling this 4-4. I'm reading the top number first. The top number tells you what you'll be counting. And for now, you can just consider it how many beats there are in a measure, which is what they're indicating up here. A measure is the space between 2 bar lines. Music is divided up numerically, as I said. The staff is divided up by bar lines. The space between 2 bar lines is called a measure or a bar. So because the top number here says 4, I can fit 4 beats, any combination of 4 beats, into each measure or bar. Now the next diagram, now you can see what the different note values look like. If a note is hollow without a stem, it's a whole note worth 4 beats. If it's hollow with a stem, it's a half note worth 2 beats. And if it's colored in with a stem, it's a quarter note worth 1 beat. So basically, you know how many beats a note is worth by its appearance. You know what the note is by its location. So if you're playing a whole note, you'll play it on the first beat and let it ring for the next 3. If you're playing a half note, you'll play it on 1 beat and let it ring over the next. Whereas a quarter note, you'll play on every beat. And all of this will be a lot clearer once you're actually doing it. So let's jump in and take a look at one more thing. All right. Let's take a look at this. Now, I wanted to introduce you to tablature as well, because you'll see an awful lot of it looking at music nowadays. On the top, we have the music staff that we just talked about. You have the G clef, you have the time signature, you have these notes, 4 quarter notes and 2 half notes. Notice 4 beats to a measure, 4 quarter notes worth 1 beat each. So there are your 4 beats there. There's your bar line. And then the next measure, we have 2 half notes worth 2 beats each. Now, tablature. Tablature is basically used with string instruments. And you'll have a line for every string on the instrument. Now, you're all playing 6-string guitars. So this is 6-string tablature. The confusing thing is that the bottom line represents the top string on the guitar. In other words, your lowest sounding string on the guitar is your top string, but on the tablature it's written on the bottom. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along. But if you notice, on each string you have a 0. That means you'll be playing an open string. That means you will not be pressing anything down in your left hand. Your right hand will just be hitting each string and let it ring, and that's what an open string is, basically. If you saw a number on a line, it would indicate what fret you were playing. And we'll talk about that in the next video. So when you look at the music staff, the notes go from low to high. And in order to make tablature correspond, they had to kind of flip it upside down and make the low note on the bottom instead of on the top as it is on the guitar. So you'll get used to that the more you use it. Now on to the next video.